Today's first qualifier, top of the stretch, Dusty Lane Miss Vicky, Always Race, Southwest Bliss, Charlotte's Western, and Salzburg Beauty. They're off and pacing. Southwest Bliss gets the first call, drives out now to grab the early lead. Dusty Lane Miss Vicky on the inside, away second, on the limb third. That is Charlotte's Western. Coming away in four, Always Race to the outside from five, Salzburg Beauty. Now moves up looking for a spot in four. They head through the backstretch for the first time as they move on to the opening quarter. Up front, Charlotte's Western on the lead by 2.5. Quickly now pulling on the outside. Here comes Dusty Lane Miss Vicky in search of the lead. In out the rail and next in line third, Southwest Bliss. And looking at it from four as they make their way onto the 3/8 is Salzburg Beauty. And sitting at the back of the field as they continue off the top turn is Always Race. The opening quarter in 30 seconds flat. They move on through the stretch now, single file as they approach the halfway point. Dusty Lane Miss Vicky is the leader, has it by a length and a half. Charlotte's Western in pursuit second, then a gap of 2.5, 3. Back to the first over attacker, Salzburg Beauty. In at the rail and racing in four as they make their way onto the 5/8 Southwest Bliss, and out the back of the field as they continue on to the 3/4 is Always Race. They were past the halfway point in 1:02 flat. On to 3/4 they head with Dusty Lane Miss Vicky still in charge of the field. Salzburg Beauty is now racing as second. Charlotte's Western at the rail third. Southwest Bliss holding down the 4th spot and still trailing is Always Race. 1:33 and 4/5 was the 3/4. They head past the 7/8 and off the top turn, and Salzburg Beauty up and out of the pocket, up to engage Dusty Lane Miss Vicky as they turn for home, and Salzburg Beauty has taken over. Dusty Lane Miss Vicky now back second, third. That is Charlotte's Western. It's Salzburg Beauty to win it. Dusty Lane Miss Vicky is second, and third is Charlotte's Western. Second qualifier of the afternoon has Safdie Sealster, Dinger 2, Boys Turn, Giant Slayer, and Electric Sill. They're off and leaving the gate at the rail is Safdie Sealster to grab the top spot on the outside. Boys Turn now ranging up to the outside to take charge as they head to the opening 8th. That's Boys Turn grabbing the early lead. Safdie Sealster gets away second. Dropping into 3 is Dinger 2 away in the 4 spot as they head through the backstretch for the first time. That is Giant Slayer, and the early trailer as they move on to the opening quarter is Electric Sill. Out front, Boys Turn will dictate the early terms, leads by a length and a half. Sitting in the garden spot as they make their way on over to the 3/8. That's Safdie Sealster. Looking at it from 3 as they make their way midway around the upper turn is Dinger 2. Then the inside Giant Slayer, and still at the back Electric Sill. The quarter reached in 31 and 1/5 second. Still single file as they move on past the halfway point. It's Boys Turn opening up now by 2.5 on Safdie Sealster. Gap of some 3.5 lengths. Back to Dinger 2 racing third, fourth Giant Slayer, and Electric Sill is still treading the field. The half reached in 1:02 and 4/5 seconds. On into the backstretch now for the final time. No change in positions. Boys Turn and Safdie Sealster still the top two as they head to 3/4. Closing in a bit there in 3. That is Dinger 2, followed by Giant Slayer and Electric Sill. Still no change as they check in at the 3/4 mile mark. It's Boys Turn, and now by 2.5, 3 as they race on to the 7/8. Back in the 2 spot, Safdie Sealster. 134 was the three-quarters. They have an eighth left to come, boys. Turn out there now by 4 as they make the final turn. Softic Sealster in pursuit. Second, Dinger 2 is third. Then Giant Slayer and Electric Seal on through the stretch they come. It's boys' turn to win the second qualifier. Softic Sealster finishing as second in the show spot. That is Dinger 2. Fourth qualifier has Lady in Paradise, Salzburg Jesse, Victorians Derby, and Aaron L. They're off and pacing with Salzburg Jesse getting the first call. Away second, Lady in Paradise. Outside Aaron L. And at the back of the field, Victorians Derby. Those four make their way into the first turn, onto the eighth and into the backstretch now for the first time, led by Salzburg Jesse. Salzburg Jesse has gone off stride. Now inheriting the lead is Lady in Paradise. Aaron L. advancing on the outside second and driving up now to assume control as they move past the opening quarter. That's Aaron L. to take over the lead. Second at the rail. That is Lady in Paradise. Then pacing in three, Victorians Derby. And back and treading the field after the early miscue. That is Salzburg Jesse. 32 1/5 second was the opening quarter. They move past the 3/8 and continue off the top turn. They're now led by Aaron L. out there by 2.5. Lady in Paradise giving chase from the pocket. Now to the outside goes Victorians Derby from 3. And endeavoring to catch the field from the back is Salzburg Jesse. They continue into the lower turn as they race on over to the 5/8. 105 4/5 was the half. It's Aaron L. still with the lead. Victorians Derby up first over second. Out the rail, Lady in Paradise third, and fourth is Salzburg Jesse into the backstretch. Final time as they head on to three-quarters, and Aaron L. is still in control. A 2-length margin. Victorians Derby now second. Lady in Paradise is the third one, and fourth is Salzburg Jesse. 136 3/5 was the three-quarters. Aaron L. expanding the lead now by 4 with an eighth left to come. Victorians Derby is back there second with Lady in Paradise third and Salzburg Jesse. They turn down the lane final time. Aaron L. leads them all. Lady in Paradise now up on the outside, but it's Aaron L. to take the qualifier. Victorians Derby will hold on to second, and Lady in Paradise is third. Today's fifth qualifier has Elm Grove Matty, Ideal Ticket. The 3 is scratched for Mortal Kombat. They're off and pacing. Elm Grove Matty at the rail, a way to grab the early lead, getting out second. Ideal Ticket, and the third one, that's Mortal Kombat. Those 3 now check in at the opening eighth, and up front, Elm Grove Matty, the early leader. A 2-length lead, Ideal Ticket racing from 2, and Mortal Kombat is third and sitting at the back. Single file as they move up to the quarter-mile mark, and they're led by Elm Grove Matty. Here comes Mortal Kombat now up on the outside. Looking to take over the lead is Mortal Kombat, and he will do so as they head now to the 3/8. Mortal Kombat, the new leader. Elm Grove Matty relents to sit second, and at the rail now third is Ideal Ticket. The quarter paced in 31 1/5 second. They swing off the turn in front of the grandstand. First time approaching the midway point. And the leader is Mortal Kombat. 2.5 length lead. Elm Grove Matty is in pursuit second, and at the rail and racing third. That is Ideal Ticket. They were past the halfway marker in 1:02 and at 1/5 second. They start into the backstretch now. Final time as they approach the 3/4 mile mark. And it's Mortal Kombat still by 2.5 on Elm Grove Matty. Back there racing in 3 is Ideal Ticket. Still no change. They check in at the 3/4 mile mark. And it is Mortal Kombat still out there by 2. Elm Grove Matty is the second one, and Ideal Ticket looking to the outside from 3. They were past the 3/4 in 1:34 flat. An eighth to come, rounding the top turn, is Mortal Kombat in the lead. Out there by 2, off the rail now comes Elm Grove Matty to challenge. Down the stretch, Mortal Kombat, Elm Grove Matty. Mortal Kombat will win it. Elm Grove Matty second, third is Ideal Ticket. Qualifier number 6, top of the stretch, Pride of Paradise, Brookdale Jim, Glenview Paisley, and Global Sealster. They're off and pacing. Away quickly, Brookdale Jim out looking for the lead. Out the rail is Pride of Paradise. On the limb, Glenview Paisley is third, and fourth, that is Global Sealster. They head to the opening eighth as they continue into the backstretch. Glenview Paisley on the outside. He's moving up now to assume control. Brookdale Jim yielding to sit second. Here comes Global Sealster now quickly charging up and advancing on the outside. That's Global Sealster now to take over as they hit the opening quarter. Global Sealster on top by 2. Glenview Paisley now second, gapping out third is Brookdale Jim, and the fourth one, that's Pride of Paradise. The quarter reached in 30 4/5 seconds. They're single file as they move off the top turn. On the front end as they turn down the lane for the first time, that's Global Sealster. Glenview Paisley up and out of the pocket now to challenge for the lead as they race past the halfway mark. Global Sealster outside, and now taking over is Glenview Paisley. Glenview Paisley has reclaimed the lead as they race into the lower turn. Global Sealster now back second, still gapped out there third. That's Brookdale Jim, and the fourth one is Pride of Paradise. The half was paced in 1:02 flat into the backstretch for the final time. Global Sealster is sitting in the pocket in behind Glenview Paisley as they race onto the 3/4 mile mark. Still back there racing third is Brookdale Jim, and fourth is Pride of Paradise. Still no change. It is Glenview Paisley and Global Sealster. They sit 1-2. 1:33 and 1/5 was the 3/4. They head past the 7/8 now, led by Glenview Paisley. Global Sealster second, third, Brookdale Jim, and fourth is Pride of Paradise. They turn for home in pursuit of Glenview Paisley, and it's Glenview Paisley who will win the 6th qualifier. Back a second is Global Sealster, and the third one is Brookdale Jim. The 7th qualifier, turning into the stretch, no matter when, Jasmo, Distinctive Rusty, and Stature Sealster. The 3 is scratched. They are off from the outside. Stature Sealster busting the gate to grab the early lead as they head into that first turn. No matter when has come away second. Rough gated off stride on the outside. The free-legged Distinctive Rusty has gone on the run, and moving up into 3, that is Jasmo. Into the backstretch, heading on to the opening quarter, Stature Sealster will dictate the early terms. Tightening up second is No Matter When, and No Matter When is moving up now, looking to take over. No Matter When has taken over. Second now is Stature Sealster. A gapped out Jasmo racing third, and still off stride at the back is Distinctive Rusty. The opening quarter was paced in 30 1/5 second, moving off the turn and into the stretch now as they approach the halfway point. It is No Matter When out front by 2.5 lengths. Second, Stature Sealster. Jasmo is the third one, and well back and trailing the breaker, Distinctive Rusty. The half in 101 flat, no matter when. Setting a lively clip for the qualifier as they head past the 5/8. Back to Stature Sealster in a 2 and a third. That's Jasmo and Distinctive Rusty well back on to the 3/4 mile mark. They're led by No Matter When. Still by 2 lengths. Stature Sealster giving chase second. Jasmo back there third, and Distinctive Rusty is the distance trailer. 3/4 in 131 and 2. Moving on now to the 7/8. Stature Sealster up and out of the pocket, up to Engage No Matter When, with less than an 8 to come. They turn for home, and Stature Sealster on the outside taking over. Second at the rail is No Matter When. Stature Sealster, No Matter When, trying to fight back. Fighting back on the inside, No Matter When. And Stature Sealster hit the line together. Back there, third is Jasmo.